hope y'all are doing really good. I hope you guys enjoyed the sermon yesterday, and I want to thank those of you who joined us for Sunday school yesterday. Thank you for being there. I hope you guys enjoyed the lesson. Just a few quick reminders before we get into our devotion this morning. Just remember that the ski trip sign up is going on right now. If you are interested in going with us on our ski retreat in March, make sure that you guys sign up. We are going to be planning some fundraisers and stuff to help with the costs, so don't worry too much about that. If you're interested in going, though, I need you guys to sign up so that way I know that you guys want to go, and I know how many we can expect to take. Also, if you would be interested in helping us with the youth praise team, I hope you guys would sign up, or you can let me know. You can DM me on Instagram or Facebook, or you can send me a text and just let me know. All right. For this morning's devotion, we're going to be in Luke chapter 15. We're going to talk about the story of the prodigal son. We're not going to read it. I'll put the reference, the scripture reference in this video. You'll see it here right now at the bottom of the screen, and it'll also be in the description down below, so you guys can go back and read it. But you guys mostly know the story, okay? But it is in Luke chapter 15. It's verses 11 through 32. And so, what we see in this story is we're gonna see three people's kind of tracks, if you will. We're gonna see three different paths that are taken through this. Obviously, when we talk about the story of the prodigal son, the very first thing that comes up is the prodigal son himself. We see that what Jesus tells us in this parable is he tells us this story of this man who had two sons. He had an older son and a younger son. The younger son came to the father and said, "Give me what is my inheritance now." And after he does that, this is found in verses 11 and 12. He said, "There was a man who had two sons, and the younger of them said to his father, 'Father, give me the share of property that is coming to me.' And he divided his property between them." So what we see is that a lot of stuff is really going to happen in this story. And I really wish we had more time to go into everything that's going to happen, but we're going to just kind of take a look at it on the surface level. And so surfacely, like looking at this, just on the surface level, we see that the younger son comes to the father and says, essentially, "I wish you were dead, give me what's mine. Give me what you intend to be mine. I'm tired of this life. I'm tired of waiting for what would be better, and I want to go out and live my best life now." And so we see that Jesus says that the younger son squandered his property in reckless living, and he spent everything, and a great famine came, and he ends up having to be hired on as a servant to go feed pigs, and he's sitting in this pigsty, quite literally sitting in this pigsty, wanting the food from the pigs, desiring what he gave to the pigs. Now, this is a big deal. This is a big deal because pork is not considered clean in Hebrew tradition. Pigs are not considered clean by any means. And so when he's like sitting in this pigsty and he's longing to have the food that is fed to the pigs, he's I mean, it shows so much. He would give up anything, even to take what would defile him and to be fed. And then he has this like epiphany. He has this idea, and it just comes to him. It's like a light bulb goes off, and he says, "My father's servants eat way better than this. I'm gonna go back to him. I'm gonna beg for his forgiveness, and I'm going to ask him to hire me as a servant, and I'm going to pray that it works. Not to welcome me back as a son, but to take me in as a servant." And so he goes, and and Jesus tells us that whenever he gets there, in verse 20 it says, "And he arose and came to his father. But while he was still a long way off, his father saw him and felt compassion and ran and embraced and kissed him. And the son said to him, 'Father, I have sinned against heaven and before you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son.'" In verse 22, "But the father said to his servants, 'Bring quickly the best robe and put it on him, and put a ring on his hand and shoes on his feet.'" And we see that what happens in this time also, when the prodigal son returns, the father sees him coming from a long way off. And we can take a lot from this too. We see that what it appears to be is that the father was anxiously awaiting the return of his son. He was anxiously awaiting for his son to come back to him. And that while the younger son was a long way off, he went running out to meet him, and he embraced him. And the son tells him, he says, "Father, I have sinned against you and to heaven, and I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Treat me as one of your servants." And the father says, "Forget that." And he tells his servants, he says, "Go and get the best robe. Go and get a signet ring. Go and get shoes." Now these things are important. These things show that the father is welcoming him back, not as a servant, not as a worker, but as a son. He is being brought back into the family. He is belonging once again to the family. Regardless of having sinned against the father and sinned against heaven, he has been welcomed back by the father. And the father throws this celebration, this party, to celebrate his son coming back. In verse 24 it says, "For this my son was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found." And they began to celebrate. Verse 24. And it's this awesome, awesome thing. And then Jesus shifts to the older brother. He says the older brother's been out in the field. He's been working. And he hears this party. And he came near to the house. He draws near and he asks one of the servants, he says, "Hey, what's up with this party?" It's almost like the older brother is kind of leading into like, "I wasn't invited to this. Like, what's going on?" And the servant says, "It's your younger brother. He's returned. And so your dad brought in the fatted calf, and he did all this." And then verse 28, the older brother shows who he is. Verse 28 says, "But he was angry and refused to go in." His father came out and entreated him, but he answered his father, "Look, these many years I have served you, and I never disobeyed your command. Yet you never gave me a young goat that I might celebrate with my friends. But when this son of yours came, who has devoured your property with prostitutes, you killed the fattened calf for him." So what we see here is we see, like I said, three different paths. We see the path of the prodigal son, where the prodigal son turns his back on the father. Turns his back on the father and goes and lives lives a life that he thinks will make him happy. Finds out it doesn't make him happy and comes back, begging to just be taken as a servant, to just be welcomed at a low level. And then Jesus tells us of the love of the Father, to go and embrace his son who only wants to be welcomed as a servant and to be paid to just be in the house with the Father, and welcomes him and embraces him and lets everyone know, "This is my son." And then thirdly and finally, we see the path of the older brother, who brings to the attention the father, saying, "I have served you for so many years. And yet you showed me none of this. Why is that? And so what we see here is we see where we fit in with one of the two brothers. Either we're the prodigal son and we're longing to come back and thinking maybe God will just accept me at the lowest. Or maybe we're the older brother and we see others coming to Jesus and we're like, why is there a celebration for him when there's never been celebration for me? Where's my reward? What I want to tell you this morning is no matter where you are in your life, the Father is standing there ready and willing to welcome you in. All it takes is asking for forgiveness. Thank you guys so much for joining me this morning. I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you guys same time, same station tomorrow. Have a good one.